Hello everyone. I'm really pleased that so many of you are interested in design methods in leading people. And one spoiler ahead, you don't need to be designer or manager to use our methods. So let's begin. With Sasha, we are both designers who somehow end up in leading people, and we would like to share with you our story. So we would like to begin with our background, just for you to know what experience we have and what we can share with you today.
Yeah, so first we would like to introduce yourself so you know who speaks to you and our company a little bit. So let me start. I'm Sasha. I'm over 15 years in the industry. I first helped launch Apple Store in Czech Republic. Then I started as product manager, and after a few years, I discovered UX and completely fell in love with it. And now I'm a team leader for more than 6 years, so I hope I can give some advice and some experience.
And I'm Honza. I have background in agency and product company as well. The main projects I done was for the bank and insurance company as well as for the public sector. Now I lead the designers who do the job boards in our company. Maybe you are familiar with the job CZ, Práce CZ or Atmoscope. So this is briefly a background about us, and we are both from Alma Career, so maybe you are aware that's the company who connects the candidates with the right companies and vice versa. And it's not just about hiring people, we also have some products about gathering feedback from the employees or Seduo for like micro-learning activities. So let's start then.
Yes, so as Honza said at the beginning, today we would like to share our journey from designer to manager and how our design thinking and design methods help us in our role and how can help you too. So what was challenging when we were becoming managers after being designers? First, as designers, we really love creating, and as managers, we had to stop creating and start managing, and we really miss that creating part sometimes. Of course, when you are a manager, you have to start delegating instead of doing it yourself, and sometimes you think like, oh, I would do it differently, but you have to just delegate and trust your team. Of course, what also were a little bit suffering for us that we are not the top product expert anymore because simply we are not able to be in that detail anymore. And as designers, we were used to that we can base decisions on data or user research, and when we are managers, we sometimes have to decide. And of course, as for our designers, empathy is still important, but as managers, you can't avoid tough conversations too. So that was really challenging for us when on our journey to manager.
And luckily, as designers, we already had some experience with people and doing the research, and this is something that really can help you to understand your people, your subordinates. You know how to ask the right questions. You know how to listen. So for us, making like one-on-ones or the meeting was quite easy. And as a designers, we use some processes, and the way is quite structured. So for us, it's easy to understand our work with some research and testing, and you can always do the same because it's always about solving the problems. And as a designer, I always look to getting things like better. It's the same with your team. You want your people shine and excel at their work. designers usually work with product managers or engineers. So working in like a cross-role environment is quite natural for us. And it's same with the uncertainty because there are always last-minute changes. So managing people is quite the same. So now you can ask.
Now you might be thinking, okay, that's great, but what does it mean for me? How this can help me? So let's have a look. How can our experience help you as a team leader, or if you solve some problem, or some people problem, or your problem in work? So, as a designers, we already have powerful tools and know-how for solving problems. And the good news is that you can use it too. You don't need to be designer to think like one. And many UX methods also work when you lead a team or when you solve some problems. So this is something what we would like to give you today.
So we are on tech conference, digital conference. I guess everyone at least heard about like a design thinking process. So you know you need to empathize with the people. You need to like explore the environment you can and where you need to find your solution. Then you need to test it and of course implement it. Or maybe you even use this more simple method. You just like think about the problem, make it, and check it with the people or with some data.
Yeah, and of course there are many more useful methods, and you don't need to invent it by yourself. You can find a lot of inspiration on 100method.cz, which was made for students of Masaryk University, and it's a great source of design thinking methods. So feel free to inspire it, and for you, we will show the numbers of the methods in our presentation when we mention something from this site. So.
It's okay. Back to the main question. How does this help you as a leader? And as I mentioned, you don't need to be designer. You don't even need to be MacGyver or Tony Stark, not even Simon. You can be just you. Just be curious, be open-minded, and use what already had been prepared and somehow describe it. So let's deep dive in that. We will always start by stating the problem, then we refer to the design method or design activity, and in which you want to address that problem. And we will explain how to use it and say something from our experience and share our best practice. So let's beginning at the start. You need to hire a new colleague, and it is not always just about the hard skills, right? You still need someone who is right fit into your team, into your company. So what can you use? There's this really nice method called Service Safari. It means, and this allows you to experience candidate and as well as the candidate experience your company at one time. It's something like mutual discovery to find out if you can work together. And we have it in our company, something we call trial date. It means that we spend one day with our new candidate. And that person meets the team. They have a time together where they can interact, where each side can share how they work, what they are how to say, what are they good ways to work or not. And there is one good thing, no one can act more than 1 hour. So after that, you really know who are you dealing with. So you don't want toxic people in your team, right? So this is the way how to really discover the person.
Yes, and we can continue. Now you hired new colleagues, and the next challenge starts when they join the team. We all know how it goes, some office tour, a few introductions, maybe some paperwork, and then what? So it's important to keep in mind that joining a team is a big change, and not only for the newcomers, but for the team too. So how we can help this process? We find out that onboarding activities really make a big differences. So never skip the overview of who's who. So the new colleague would know who does what, who should he or she ask, and so on. It really shortens the who should I ask phase, as I said. It saves time and boosts the efficiency of the newcomer. And it also really helps to understand teammates' roles, which really encourages the collaboration between newcomer and the team. And what's more, and what we advise to add, is also sharing some hobbies or personal stories. And why? Because simply it builds informal connections, which made every collaboration better, especially in the remote work. Because it increases the confidence to ask questions, to remember people, and so on.
And how we do it? This is the board of our design team. So every designer in our team has this card. I will a little bit zoom in, and it contains some of these areas which are work related. It's very necessary to people to know to whom they should address if they have a question about research, about UI, or about discovery, or whatsoever. And don't forget to have there something about their personal life, because you are still in the work, but people need something that can break the ice when they need to meet the person for the first time. And this really makes people more welcome and not so anonymous in your company anymore. And this is how you can create a connection between people just doing this one simple workshop together.
Yeah, and speaking about changes, sometimes people can react unexpectedly to banalities, and it's nature. It's nature that people react in ways that we can find strange or surprising, but we have to learn how to deal with it, and otherwise it can slowly build tension in team. So what to do? How can design methods help here? One of our favorites are personas and empathy maps, but this time for your own team. So just a simple introduction, what is personas and empathy maps, maybe a lot of you know, but just briefly, personas is a way to create characters that show what your users are, what their problems are, and what they want. And empathy maps is a simple tool that describes how they think, feel, what they say, what they do. And of course, we are not talking about spending months describing people in your team. It's more about taking that approach, that perspective from the methods. And why? Because it really helps to understand the team member motivations and needs, what matters to them, what frustrates them. And why is it important? Because it really improves, again, collaboration and your leadership, because you know who needs what, who needs more structured feedback, who values some freedom at work, who needs some clarity, and so on. Sorry. Yeah.
And As Sasha mentioned, don't spend on this task too much time. It's always good to utilize some third-party tool. For example, my favorite is Clifton Strength Finder. This is really great tool. You take a test, which takes about 45 minutes, an hour maybe, and you get really good report about yourself and who are you and what are your strengths, and maybe we are not performing as that well. And it's good to know this about your people in your team, because then you know what are their strengths and you know where you should support them a little bit more than usual to keep the people like in good mood and good performing.
Yeah, and one more tip for me, my favorite one, find out what's your fuel, what's the sugar, what gives you and your team the energy, and how it helps. We can't always choose what we work on, but everyone has something that excites them. So usually we can figure out how to find it in almost every project, or we can find out how to find it elsewhere so we can recharge our batteries. And if you know what drives your people, it helps you to decide better who should do what, who should be on what project, and so on. And it simply creates conditions for best performance and satisfaction in work. And what could be that fuel, what I'm speaking about? For some people, it's that they need to see progress, they need to feel appreciated or useful, or they need to feel that they are working on things that matters, that help others. And you can say that, oh yes, everybody enjoyed this, but really try to find that one thing that brings you the most joy, the most energy. And on the other hand, when it is missed in your work, you feel exhausted. So find the fuel for you and for your team.
Okay, another issue that very often happens in like bigger companies is working in silos. When you manage some competence, it's usually that you just like giving your people into other teams. So what happens then? Then people work in like a silos, working on their own product, on their features whatsoever, and this usually ends with reinventing wheels once again and once again. This is a really huge waste of your potential, of your time, and so on. So how to deal with that problem? There are like several methods. I really do like a mix of workshops, something like introducing mapping, that everyone is gathered at one time, at one place, and share their status, what they are working on, what are their like achievements of the last time, or something like a peer review, because it's quite easy and cheap to get feedback from your coworker, then go out with your like users and ask them, because that's quite time consuming. And as I mentioned, you can get like a feedback really fast. It is good for like sharing knowledge and experiences, because quite often all the issues had been somehow solved in other teams, so you can get inspired. Teams are better aligned, because it can happen that you are doing the same form again, and it's a nice place to open discussion between teams and between totally different angles on views on the same issues. So how we do that? It's really simple. We just gather all the people, get some stickies. Everyone can write down what they're working on, and we usually choose one, or one is asked to just present the work in more detail, and this always sparks like a really nice conversation or some feedback loop. So don't overcomplicate it. Stickies work best for me.
Yeah. And another common challenge could be that when people begin jumping straight from the brief to solution, for example, designers, they received some task, and suddenly there is a wireframe or even prototype. And why is it not good? It looks like really productive, but it skips one important step, which is really understanding the problem. And without this, we risk that we are solving the wrong thing, or we are only fixing the symptom, not the cause. So what can we do with this? We can start with stakeholder mapping. It's a way to find all the people connected to project and see how they can affect the project. So you will start identify key players and your decision makers, your sponsors, influencers. And if you know your stakeholders, you can reveal potential blockers on their concerns. And how does it help? When you know all the stakeholders and their perspectives, their concerns, and their needs, it's almost impossible to start skip all the important steps and to start looking at the problem like simply just open Figma and start to draw something. You will be forced to look at the problem more complexly. So this is another example how can design method helps you in your work.
Okay, Adam, do you notice that your people are working grumpy on the office? So what to do that? Should I check their horoscope? They just have like a bad day or what? There is a really nice research method called in-depth interviews. Maybe know it as like a one-to-ones. It's like a really good to regularly sit with your people and like a structurally ask question, what is happening? This is when you can utilize the 5 whys method and just create the safe space and let people talk and open. And this is also good for you to build empathy with your subordinates and like create atmosphere when you really care about your people.
Yeah, and another useful method for doing better one-to-ones is looking at your one-to-one meetings as like small research sessions. And there are more tips for your one-to-ones because it's really important meeting for you as team leaders. So another tips for you, just don't skip small talk. Especially in remote sessions because we need this when we don't have the opportunity to meet at cafe corner in your office. Always ask about team collaboration, not only what's done, but also how it feels, how it works, what people. And what's also really important, check workload of your people regularly. And when there is some overload, so dig deeper when that workload is high and ask about reasons. It's because of the goals, it's because of some processes, or it's because some personal things or what. And what I also advise you is to leave some space for personal topics because it again, simply builds the connections, which is really important in the world of hybrid working conditions and so on. So just ask, how are you? And as for every meetings, it's also good when both sides are prepared in advance. So, for example, we have Notion sites where we can put topics as it goes, so we don't forget to talk about something. Yeah.
So you have to care about each individual, but it seems there's not working something in like a team dynamics. So there is something obviously rotten in the state of Denmark. So how to find out what is happening? I really recommend using brainwriting and focus groups. So you let at the first everyone write something without any disruption or influence from other people on some sticky notes again. And then let the person explain what makes them like grumpy or sad, mad, glad, whatever you name it. And you can like get a deeper and richer feedback because you can allow the team dynamics to grow and somehow just other people can explain to your peer what is wrong or if their like a view is like overreacting or whatsoever. So this is like great for the complex problem, and if you do regular one-on-ones, you already know what will appear and who will be the troublemaker in this session.
Yeah, and if you work in agile teams, you probably do some already do some kind of retrospective meetings, like regularly looking back, seeing what works, what not. And the same idea works for other teams too. And if you work in metrics structure, so don't forget to the team across the structure. For example, design team. Designers usually not work just only in product teams, but they also cooperate with other members of design teams like user researchers, UI designers, UX writers, and so on. And that that cross team needs some care too. So we also do regularly retrospectives. We look what works, what not, what we would like to talk about, and so on. So if you work in some metric structure, don't forget on that teams too, on that informal teams too.
And I sometimes wonder why Sasha's people are happier than mine. Is that because she bakes better than I do? Maybe.
Probably.
And she's not.
I do.
But you can always like use or get used of some benchmarking on desk research. Just be curious and ask your colleagues what are they doing, what are their best practices, and get inspired by them, because they usually have something that is usable and maybe slightly better than yours. So don't forget just to look around and have some like a common folks you can share your experience or get inspired from as well.
Yes, and speaking about get inspired, one more thing that can really help your leadership is to inspire from your experienced managers around you. So if you have someone like this, ask him, her, learn of them, copy them, see what works, what not. And I did the same for over the years, and I collected some interesting questions, which I'm using in my conversation with my teammates. And I think that these are the things that every good manager should remember to ask, and ask it regularly, because the answers can change during the time. So these are 2 slides of questions. I don't want to read them all. You can take a photo, or in the end we give you some link for PDF, some takeaways, so you will find them. But if I would pick some interesting, so of course what motivates you at work, as I was talking about the fuel, and another interesting question which always brings interesting answers is how much do you feel you're using your full potential? in your work. Don't forget to ask about yourself as a team leader. And one of interesting parts, and my favorite one, is also the questions about other offers. So if you're getting offers from LinkedIn or somewhere else, what would you make to reject it? Why do you reject it? And I hope you reject it. And on the other hand, what would that offer should look like to seriously consider to accept it? So these are some interesting questions.
Okay, this is
for
not
about what?
actually like a design methods, but we are still humans, right? So just take the person outside of the work. Don't rely just on the official feedback tools. Go out for good food or drinks. And this always helps to break the ice. And for me, the most interesting thing is when you are open, people are open too. So stick with that, and yeah, just don't be with all the work days and the stuff. Do it like a proper humans.
Yeah, so if you look back to our journey from designers to managers, there were some challenges, lessons learned, and mistakes, and so on. And now we think everything is settled and it's okay. But of course, the only constant is the change. So if there's peace and quiet, it usually means that some change is behind the corner. So what to do?
And for us, it was like the great transition from LMC to Alma career when everything completely changed. Like we were like a Czech-speaking company, and we started to use English on almost everyday basis. We like a merge with different countries, and our process is like a break in one day. So now what? Now you have like a 20 plus people on call, and what that time took us like a 30 minutes just go around one round for who is doing what. So that just doesn't work for us. So
yeah, so changes everything. Yes.
And this leads us to the one of the final slides is be still designer, be still hungry, because you will always need to experiment, listen, iterate, and evaluate once again. There is nothing like that everything is settled. Yeah. Everything will change sooner or later. So look at every problem as a designer, because you can always change it, but you need to listen, to watch out what is happening, and try to change it to the better way. Because everything can be designed, even team management.
Yeah. So, and if you can borrow something, just borrow this from us. Yeah.
And don't forget, everything already had been discovered, like a STO method, Lean UX, and all stuff we mentioned today.
Yes, and finally there's a link which I mentioned before. The link is to PDF where you can see all that mentioned methods, and also that interesting questions for your one-to-ones. And there is also a bonus link to UX Research Academy for our colleagues Ivcha Kolcunová. And that Research Academy could be really a great source of another methods how to ask better questions, how to listen actively, and how to make decisions based off some real insights. Yes. So we hope that we are able to infect you about our design thinking, and without using design methods, not only in design, but also to think how to use it in your leadership, or even if you solve some problems. So that's what we want to give you and what we want to leave you here. Yeah.
thank you for listening, and I'm curious if there are any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. I really think that you infected us very well. So
We
the
hope.
first question, what have been your biggest mistakes or learning moments that push you forward the most? It's a tough one.
If I could pick one, it's that thing what we mentioned in the end, that the only constant is the change, and that when we think that really everything is fine and settled, and now we can put foods on the table, it's not like this, and we really have to ask regularly, take care of regularly, and to really notice what's going on in the team and in the office. Yeah.
For me, it's to solve all the issue at the beginning, not let the stuff rotten, because it's getting harder and harder to solve at the end. So solve everything proactively and sooner than later.
Yeah.
Even the stuff you don't want to do.
Yes.
Yes, especially.
Especially that
then.
stuff. Yes.
Okay. How did you get to Clifton's strengths? Did you work with it deeper in the team, with some consultant, or just made a test and read the results?
Yes, in my team, every members had their Clifton Strength test, and we share it. I share mine, so they know what they can expect from me and what really not. And for me, it's useful to see their Clifton Strength, because when I'm thinking about who should do this project, who should be in this product team, and so on, I can really consider that their results. So because if you can use the best in your talents, you can do the best work, and you will be satisfied with it. So it's really it doesn't make sense to focus only on what should be better, but I think that it's really helpful when you focus on the strength of your team. And then also when they should cooperate between them, it helps them to understand why he or she react like this, and what should I expect from her or him, and what not.
Perfect, thank you. As a certified coach for this methodology, I can only recommend it. It's really good.
Yeah.
Okay, so we run out of questions in the LNT app, but let me ask you, do you have any other question for this duo?
Maybe I do. Just a simple question. What do you think? How many numbers of teammates to have in the team that the team is, let's say, well managed?
We are designers, so we have to say it depends. Yeah.
I can't imagine to have, let's say, in my team, let's say over 20, 30 people to have one-to-one interview on a weekly basis or bi-weekly. So yeah, because the problem nowadays is, of course, to have to manage people in let's say, small team
Yeah.
size and really big.
In that case, you should somehow delegate it. You should divide your team into smaller parts, informally, not in some formal. I'm not talking about some formal structure, but informally, you can divide your team into smaller parts and have some seniors, which can do this regularly instead of you.
So better to graduate.
Yes.
And for me, the number is something below 10. That
Yes,
is like
yeah.
manageable by one person in a good way. Everything above is like hell.
So let's say in numbers it is 4 up to 6 people in the team, let's say, it is well managed.
For me, the 8 is
Yes.
maximum.
Yeah.
10 is like
I can manage it, but it's yes. it's on the edge, but yeah.
Thanks.
Any other question? Okay. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.